And here we are. It is the 23rd of June now, folks. It's 2020, and I'm sure I'm in 2019 or 18, because how did we get to this part of the year? Goodness me. So welcome to ETN's Latte Lounge, and this is episode 7. I have my trusty companions with me, Pat Byrne, and we have Penny Arnold. Now, I'm going to be talking a bit later on about this I'm going to say fantabulous book, we'll make it fantabulous, book by Mildred Carter and her daughter Tammy Weber. This is extraordinary, and some of the things that I'm going to be covering, but it's going to be a little bit, but I want to hear the other ladies first. I'm going to be showing how hand reflexology as opposed to foot reflexology, nothing stopping you using the foot reflexology, but how amazingly it works. So we're going to look at the endocrine system, help with Parkinson's, treating the eyes, the ears, hearing, TMJ and teeth pain, that kind of thing, respiratory issues and hay fever, and helping animals, believe it or not, stopping coughs. We all know we've had those coughs that seem to be interminable. Hangover help, I might want that on my birthday soon. Hair loss, and also helping to prevent grey. I don't know about the latter for me. And clearing possession. So, and I didn't even know, I never even thought that possession in terms of reflexology could be helped, but it's all to do with the adrenals. But we're going to come to that at the last part of the show. But what I did want to share with you right up front before we bring Pat on to do her part about animals in the afterlife is this. And some years back, I met a lovely lady called Veronica Keane, and her husband, Montague Keane, was no longer with us, I believe, at that time. And she had had 1 or 2 strokes. And she had learned a system, which is a recipe, she calls it her stroke recipe, which she then became extremely efficient at keeping about her person like an emergency kit. And she said it will work within 20 minutes of anybody having a stroke if you take all these things. So I'm just going to read out the recipe, and then I will show it to camera so you can freeze frame it, and I'll also write it in the information at the end under the video. So stroke recovery recipe is, and this is take immediately if you can, or get somebody to give them to you. You know, leave a note in your purse or something. If you're prone to strokes, have a wristband saying there's a medication I need and this is it. Okay, anything to help you. So 400 micrograms of vitamin Q10, 400 micrograms of vitamin E, 400 micrograms of vitamin C. And then we want to take 3 Kyolic garlic capsules and also 3 cardio aspirin. So here you go, you take those all at one sitting, all at one go. And this is really an extraordinary healer. It gives the body a whole load of tools straight away to support what the brain has just been through and the whole body-mind system. So she's used that several times now, and she said it really is incredible. So I know you can say, well, who knows that, you know, when you're going to have a stroke and all the rest of that. But look, forewarned is forearmed. You've got the information, pass it on. And you don't have to be at risk of having a stroke either, because who knows when that kind of issue can arise. And I am not taking my own advice, but I will be doing. And I will be getting that bit of a kit together, putting it in a first aid bag and keeping it with me wherever I go, because I think it's too important not to. And not that I feel at risk, it's just that with the changes on the planet, the electrical impulses and everything else from other planetary bodies, as well as all the things that are going on that are diminishing our ability to recover from things like the big pharma vaccine stuff and all the stuff coming from the chemtrails, we need all the help we can get. So I've never come across that before, but I thought that I really could not afford not to share that with you. It could save your life or somebody you know. All right, so now we're going to go on to talk to our Pat, and she's going to talk about pets in the afterlife. We have mentioned this before, and I think I might have mentioned on episode 6 or 5 now, that I had seen a wonderful guy full of life called Bob Olsen, who has a program or a podcast called Afterlife TV. And I do recommend you have a look. I've only seen it once or twice, but it's great because he talks about life after death and the evidence of that. And in this particular interview, it was a lady with the surname, McKinnon, I believe. I forget her first name again. And she is a pet communicator, animal communicator, and has done a lot of work in bringing people together with their loved ones, the four-leggedy furry baby in the afterlife. So anyway, Pat, I think we'll go over to you, and perhaps you can tell us what's been going on, because you've got some news about quite a famous puddly cat who has just gone over to the other side.
Yes, I expect anybody who are cat lovers will know who I'm going to talk about, and it's Bob the street cat. And he was with James Bowen, I think it was, the guy who took him on. And I think the story is rather wonderful, really, because it's all about how Bob came into James's life. And James was at that time had been homeless previously, was coming off hard drugs, I believe, on the recovery program, and living in sheltered accommodation, or especially purpose accommodation, so he could get the proper supervision. And Bob was hanging around and looked like a stray for about 3 days. And in the end, this was at the bottom of his stairs, because I think he was on the 5th floor. And he asked around and nobody knew. And so he took him upstairs to his flat to feed him, because he could see he was hungry. And whilst he was talking to him and petting him, he realised that he had a very bad abscess on his leg. So the next morning he took him off to the RSPCA, and they dealt with it, and he had to pay for some antibiotics, and I think he said it was the only money he had, and it went on the antibiotics for the cat.
Oh.
So he brought him back and looked after him over several weeks. I think fed him, got to know about him. And then when he felt he was fit, he said, well, off you go, mate. You're okay now. And he didn't budge. So I think several attempts were to encourage him to go off and lead his own life, or find his way back home, or whatever it may be. But in the end, I think James gave in, because at the very end he kept following him down the pavement when he was going to work, and then one morning jumped on the bus as he was going to work. So followed him to his little patch where he was doing his busking, wherever that was. I think one of them was Covent Garden and one of them was the Angel tube station. And he said, I only had a shoelace on me, so I made a quick little harness up for him so he didn't run away. And of course, that was the start of a very interesting journey for both of them, because, in time, both of them became famous. Sadly, he died, I think it was on the 15th this month, and he'd been missing for a couple of days, apparently, which was unusual. And unfortunately, he was actually run over, but he had been suffering from kidney problems, although it was being managed. So very sad for James, because what happened after this initial bonding was that a book got written, a film got made, and they travelled the world together. I think they even went to Japan, certainly Spain, and did Europe, And James wouldn't take him on any plane that we wanted to put him in the cargo hold. He had to go and sit in a proper seat next to him. So very, very sad for James. I believe he's launched a fundraising this week to, they want to create a little garden for him and have a special ceremony. I guess it's in a week or two. So, that's just one amazing story of a cat that's passed on and is obviously going to leave a great big hole in James's heart.
But also, what an incredible legacy. I mean, my
Yeah,
goodness, we all know how much animals mean to us, but I mean,
yeah.
that was incredible because that gave him his whole living. And how long was Bob with James for?
I think it was about, what was it, 13, about 13 years.
A
I
long
think it
time
was.
then. It's
Yeah.
great.
So they, you know, and they had a TV channel, and they had animated children's books. I mean, yeah, it was pretty well sorted out in terms of the marketing. But yes, I mean, it is amazing. So it would be lovely to feel that, you know, if he was interested in animal communication, that he could, as I have helped a lot of people who pets have passed on, and it can bring a great comfort and a feeling of peace, really, because when often what happens is that they receive messages that only the guardian owner will know and the pet will know. I don't know, but there'll be some little secret thing that they've had between them, or some little ceremony that they've done, and you know, they'll pass that on, and then they're absolutely convinced that that is their animal that, you know, I'm connecting with. So in that sense, it's rather amazing.
That's beautiful. Really beautiful.
Yeah, and also they have interesting ways after they've passed over. I mean, through with me, it's obviously comes through as a message. You know, I've had that. You know, I've had a message. I think I just look at my notes. I think I had a message from, yes, one of the people that I was helping. Her dog had passed, and I had helped her when she was by communicating with her dog to find out when the right time to pass was, and she got a lot of comfort knowing that the dog was ready to go. The vet was recommending it, but she was, you know, she was in that awful situation of not knowing when it's quite the right time. And he said quite clearly, I'm ready, I'm in pain, I want to go. And after he'd passed, about a week later, I got a spontaneous message from him, which means I didn't initiate the contact. He just dropped into my head, and I said hello, and there's something you want to say. And he said, yes, I want to talk. I want you to pass this message on about the burial of my body. It was a specific place where he wanted to be buried, and he wanted this client to place a seat by after he was buried near, so she could be with him.
Oh.
So that was quite specific. I had a personal experience where this message or communication came through a noise, and we had a dog who had recently passed over, and the last week of its life had not wanted to sleep in the kitchen but wanted to sleep in the hallway, because I think he felt that he could get upstairs if he wasn't that well, and I didn't give in for 3 nights, but he ended up by throwing himself at the kitchen door.
Oh, bless.
Waking me up in the middle of the night. This is before he passed. Banging, and I thought, oh, he's obviously unhappy. So I took him out and put him on the sofa in the hallway. And he was fine, and he settled then. And after he'd passed, I woke up on about 3 nights later. I woke up in the middle of the night and heard this. I definitely heard it because my ex-husband heard it as well. It was like bang, bang, bang. And I thought, oh God. And I actually got up and ran halfway down the stairs, forgetting in my sleepy state that he'd passed over. I thought, oh. So, you know, it was his way of, you know, telling me his way. So
Yeah,
if
saying
you come
thank
through
you.
stories, come through messages, it will come through like something physical like that.
Yeah.
And I've also had experience of messages being given to me through dreams from my animals that have passed. And I've had a message when I lost my cat through a fire, which was obviously very traumatic. I had a message through a clairvoyant friend of mine who said that, you know, updated me and told them they were being looked after by my mother. So they can come, and the last one is that I've had an experience of is you can feel a presence. And certainly one night, not long after one of my cats had passed over, I felt this cat jump up on the bed. I could actually feel the weight. And it was a cat that used to sleep on my bed a lot. And it was only momentarily, but I could definitely feel it. So they will find a way to connect with you if you're open to listening and listening for a message, or listening for or being aware of something happening in your house, a noise or a sound. They're always willing to try and find a way to connect.
Well, I do hope that perhaps James would maybe take you up on your idea of doing a reading for him with Bob. Wouldn't that be lovely if that happened and we could report on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll get a ton of mail, because he's quite a high-profile situation. But yes, I mean, I can only write the letter, and if he wants to take up the offer, but it would be lovely to get, because I think Bob would be extremely expressive.
and it's I think we might have mentioned it before, but I think it would be lovely just perhaps if you, because I know you've got a poem perhaps which is lovely.
Yeah.
We'll hear in a minute, but perhaps just to finish up this bit about the animals passing on and their communication with the story about the cats that you now have and who you believe they actually are.
Oh yes, have I not told you that before?
I think you might have done, but as we're talking in this segment, I think it would be nice to remind people.
Yeah, okay. Well, after I had 2 cats who died in a fire, which was not very nice. And I had, obviously I was very distraught, and out of the blue, about a week or so later, a very good friend, and actually she was a mentor for me. She was a spiritual mentor, really, in many ways, and she was a spiritualist and clairvoyant, and a friend of mine had been to see her for a healing, and this friend rang me up and said, Wendy's asked me to ring you to say, would you ring her, because she's got a message for you. And I said, well, couldn't she give you the message? She said, no, can you ask her to ring me? So I rang her, and she said, do you ever have a big white fluffy cat? And I said, yes, but it was about 18 years previous to that. And his name was Arthur, a bit like the old Arthur ads with the paw in the tin. I don't know if you remember that. And he used to do that as well. And I said, yes. And I actually, we didn't have the internet then, I don't think. So I actually sent her a photograph to validate, because she hadn't known me during that period of time when I was married. And she said, oh yeah, that's him. She said, he came and sat on my kitchen table. She said, he plonked him down. He said, I've got a message for Pat. She said, he's quite assertive. I said, oh really? That's interesting, because when he was with me, we used to call him Mr. Blobby, because he was a little bit, he used to sort of roll over, just one of those very laid back cats. But in this instance, he came across as quite assertive. I said, no, would you please tell her that her cats are safe and being looked after by her mother spirit? So, that gave me a lot of comfort. And then he said, and one day she'll understand that this has happened for a reason. Which I wasn't very impressed with, to be honest, but anyway, that was just my reaction. And then about a couple of weeks later, she rang me up again and she said, he's back. He's got another message. And he went into a bit more detail, and he said that whole experience had been to open my heart center. So the grief was to fully open my heart center, which apparently wasn't, because I was going through a divorce, and it was quite those situations that you go through, and that was very interesting. And now he taking it a little bit a step further, so he said, he said, the most important thing you can do is work with animals and people and create a bridge of understanding between the two species.
Mm.
That was long before I had any messages from St. Francis as well. So that, you know, and because it was coming through for me, a trusted source, I believed it, because
Yes.
I knew this woman, and I just knew how she operated. So that was very interesting. And a bit later on, a few years on, when I'd taken done my animal communication professional course, I began teaching in time other people, and then I used Arthur. I used to contact him to help the students and give them confidence. And I had a little exercise where I used some examples that I could prove that I'd ask some questions. I had the questions written on the card. I'd say, now ask this question and see what response you get. The answers were on the back. And so when they got one right, I was able to prove that they had actually got the correct answer. It wasn't just me saying it.
And who are the cats that you have now?
The two cats I have now are reincarnated cats. They reincarnated. And they are called Poppy and Patch.
And who did they reincarnate from?
Poppy is from Sumper, and Patchy is from Crunchy. So he's come back as a boy cat, and there were previously two girls before. There were two sisters, and now they're brother and sister, and they still have a little go. At the time.
That's right.
So it is possible that, but not all animals reincarnate, obviously, but
no.
It can happen. And I was told, again through my trusted friend, when I said to her, I've just got this, after a period of time, I said, I really just got this feeling that they're coming back. And it just seemed at the right time. I'd moved to a new place where I could have cats, and I said, I just got the feeling, and she checked in and she said yes.
And are these cats that you have now the reincarnation of the ones that died in the fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She said they had served their purpose for that time, and now they come back to help me with my work.
And I guess have their full complement of a life. So, and they are cheeky little monkeys, those two.
As you well know.
As I well know. Yeah, delightful. Well, thanks, Pat. Do you want to finish this segment with? Did you say you'd got a poem which was to do with pet loss? And I just think that's nice. So many of us have experienced that. Certainly, I have, and you know, all the way through my childhood, and it was a traumatic thing. So, I think that'd be. I
don't think a lot of people realise that often pets visit you in your house. They come back in spirit to the house where, you know, they were. It is often, if you're attuned, you can often feel their presence. Yeah. And I have felt Arthur around it at times. So this sort of poem, and this came to me about 3 years ago, quite spontaneously. So I just named it Poem for Pet Loss to help people. So it says, it's like the animals looking down at their previous friend. And so they said, I'm sad to see you are grieving, as I am still so close to you. And when my body left, I so wanted to reassure you. I watch your every action just as I used to do, and see you crying for the days when we were still two. And even though you cannot see me, I am nearby. For if you could see how close I am, then I'm sure you would not cry. You see, there is a bridge between us, the one that calls you to my side. Just use your love and intuition so we can close the divide. Love will bring you comfort and a knowing that I am still here, for I am around, believe me, for our connection is near. So please do not shed a tear. Time and space do not matter, it's where our hearts meet. This is a true connection that allows us to speak. So waste no time on regrets, for there is now an open door, and I am sitting here smiling, offering you my paw. So no more tears, for we can communicate again and remember those happy memories so you can begin again.
Lovely. Thank you. That was really, really nice. So there you go, folks. So for those of us who are animalaholics, I think that's 3 of us here. And for those of you who are not, you know, hopefully this will mean something to you and you can explore some material and lovely videos that there are with animal communicators. And, you know, again, it's great to hear how we can have this communication. It's a matter of degree and frequency. So nothing, you know, kind of incredible that it shouldn't be. It's just tuning in. So, all right. Thanks, Pat, for that. So, Penny, hello, hello, hello. Nice to see you with us once again in your beautiful smiley face.
About, isn't there? Yeah. I'm just thinking around whether my cats are up here, but they're not. They're, oh yes, one's just walked in, George.
Oh, well.
What George? I know we've got George and Phoebe with Penny.
Phoebe, George is here, yeah. Cats are all here. Cats are all
The cat room.
yeah. So, John, did you want me to go through?
Yeah, so we were just a recap. So from episode 6, Penny had been sharing a lot about what dowsing can show in the manner in which she does it, talking about degrees of wellness and all angles of that wellness too. And so I said, you know, it would be interesting to do an update because Penny did a reading for me about 6 or 7 months ago now, and you know, of course, we're a movable feast. Everything changes as frequencies and whatever influence our growth and as our own conditions changes. So I'm going to take a big breath, and I hope that it's I'm not going to be too challenged by it because I haven't heard this yet.
Well, I only did it half an hour ago. That's why. There's a lot going on today. No, really good news. I think if I could just explain a little bit why perhaps there's been some quite high energy levels that's suddenly gone up. It's the solstice. It's the solstice this year, very, very powerful. And from the 19th, 20th and 21st, or 20th, sorry, 21st, 20th, 21st, 22nd, the Earth, and I've only just checked this out, has actually moved up dimensions. Incredible. And we are with her. We are with her. That's the thing. So it's really good, Joan. I'm able to see even back on the 29th of the 11th, you know, and I've only talked to somebody this evening by another little Zoom meeting. He's in Austria, Mike Upstone. But to get a reading from anybody's emotional body, which obviously the heart rules, I just think, thank God for that, you know, because so many people are so shut down. And it's such a shame. There again, we're all on our own pathway. So the solstice has made, the Earth has not, I've been checking reasonably regularly how many, and they're not, it's another timeline of dimensions that I seem to be looking at. And I can actually link in with 3D, 4D, 5D. She is in 5D now, but the dimensions I've been getting on my chart is much more than that, many more. And it's almost like there's parallel timelines that we're, you know, experiencing. And she has been in dimension 12. Now that happened at the beginning of the year, 10 to 12. It's been going up in twos. Two is a good number, isn't it? But
wonderful.
This year, this solstice, she's leapt up to 16, four dimensions, and that's actually
Wow.
Yeah, what's happened. Oh, amazing to yourself, Jan, because we are the Earth. We are the Earth, which is why it's so important that we love ourselves unconditionally. And I'll come back to that in a little while, because something else I checked this morning for the first time was how the Earth needs to protect herself from the EMF hike on the 5G. and the only way she's going to do it is if we are her children, do that as well. And that is just so important. I didn't realize how important that was.
So what do you mean, Penny? How is that going to occur, do you think?
Well, she needs more of us humans switching on that bubble of protection with the high levels of self-love. Do you see? That is the link. And even with the recent Magenta Pixie, she mentioned the black box and the rose gold flame.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Human resonance. And she's saying, and she only put it out a couple of days ago, how important it is now. How important. So what's so good, and I'll just come to the other dimensions, on the 29th, the 11th, when you sat in front of me watching
2019.
19, yeah, pendulum whipping about with me.
It was.
Steady as a rock, watching the same as you. Dimensions you were in then was 6, I got, and now you've leapt up with the earth, and you're now on 16. And I checked you on the 20th of the 6th. I went back a few days, and you're in dimension 12. So you've gone up another 4. And I think that's absolutely brilliant. The other thing is your soul contract achievement or soul agreement, whatever you want to call it, has also gone up from 70 to 80%, which is great. So you're on the right, you're following your soul mission. That's the thing. And
great,
I think
good to know.
We all know that, and I think Pat would be the same. I'll have to check Pat out if she doesn't mind,
No, I'd be really interested.
Yeah, because your soul mission obviously is with your animals. Like me, I love my animals, and they've got unconditional self-love. It's us humans,
Yeah.
They're teaching us. Animals are our teachers, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, let's go on. Oh, one thing very, very interesting, Joanna, is you did have some Mercury residing in.
Yes.
That's gone.
Really? Wow.
Wow. Do you feel better yourself? Do you sort of feel?
Yeah, and also on occasion I have been taking the diatomaceous earth, not a lot, but also I have been upping the H2O2 a little bit. So.
Yeah. Oh, magic. So
that's incredible to know. Do you know what? That actually takes a little bit of a weight off my shoulder, because I was conscious of that, and great to know. Thank you.
I was really oh God. Wow. And after this, on the 20th, this was to do with the solstice energy change, because you did have some there on the 20th, but not now. Now that's incredible, because that's a first. I've been seeing so many firsts in 2020. I can't believe it. That's absolutely brilliant. Magnesium, you're full. Yeah, fantastic. You've got 80%, which is good. And the other thing as well, the vagus nerve, was quite low, as mine was with the Mercury problem.
Yeah.
But that is, it's really gone up. Magic. This is recently. It seems as though everything is being updated. Increased.
Yeah, sort of upgraded.
Yeah, upgraded. So important, the vagus system, and spleen as well, and pituitary gland. You're up to the 80. I love the 80.
Oh wow! Did you check on the lymph system? That was one I was thinking that would be a little bit.
Oh, I didn't. I will do, and I'll email it you, because I must admit it was. I did have another Zoom meeting.
Oh no! Don't worry. That was the one I was kind of hanging for, because I thought I haven't been doing the exercises in the recent months, and I know that the system needs that.
I wouldn't worry, John. You're doing really well, and if you can just imagine yourself doing the exercises,
Oh, honey, thank you so much. Yes, I will.
Imagine you've got all that equipment.
That's so powerful.
Just go and sit in the room and look at it. Oh, Penny, I love you.
Yeah, we are all connected at the heart, and that is it. The other thing, the light body. Let's have a word about that, because I only mentioned to Mike Upstone tonight about how many people don't realise that a light body, I think it's called the Merkabah or Merkabah, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It's literally diminished big time when anybody drinks a lot of alcohol and eats a lot of flesh foods.
Oh, okay.
Now, I know with your Merkabah, it's gone up. It's gone up from 80 to 90, which is excellent. I love the number 9, don't you?
Yeah.
Right. So
That's even with me having a little glass of Fino now.
Yes. You see that Benedictine or
Benedictine. Now and again, I'll have a little glass with a bit of ice. Just, you know, I just feel the benefit of it. I feel it's beautiful.
Yeah,
I checked it out. There is something special about, I don't drink alcohol, but I was in a ceremony on the 21st at Doublestone Circle near Ulverston
Oh, beautiful.
on Bardsea Common with the chief druid of this area, Paul Coppinger. He's got a really great Facebook page, and he passes around, although we had to have little plastic cups. It kept blowing away in the wind. It was absolutely windy up there on the 21st. But normally we just share this beautifully handmade, it's mead. He puts mead in it with honey. And that is the only time, I sort of take alcohol. I know it's okay. I think the main problem is the people who have to have a drink, have to have one, and they're addicted. And it's the addiction that is really, and it does honestly just cut off that Merkabah.
Yeah.
So, going back to yourself as well, spleen has increased as well, which is
fantastic.
Yeah, do when you get a chance, everybody who might.
I have done some work on that. I have a lot of fire in my nature, and quite a lot of anger sometimes, or I have had certainly, and I have done a lot of work on clearing that or harmonizing it, let's say, and keeping, the fire is my passion, also driving me in, and I think that's a good thing for me anyway, because I'm a bit lazy.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And crystalline DNA is still there, all there, and I will check immune system, and there's obviously a lot of other things I can look at. It just can go on and on and on, but so
it looks like we'll be starting again just in a second or two, so we will just let it finish, and then just give me 5 minutes, girls, and then we'll be back on, because it just needs to download what we've done so far, which you may just think, what on earth is she doing? Having a sandwich.
We do that. So we stop now, do we? Sure.
Yeah, I think what we'll do, we'll just let it. So it's less than a minute, so we'll just let it run on, and then I'll see you in 5 minutes, and we'll continue, which is brilliant.
Just a few minutes about that, and then I'll go on to poetry.
So we're into session 2, and we're with Penny and Pat, and we're going to continue with our lovely Penny Arnold. So Penny, I know we just about finished having a look at what my numbers were on the reading of the dowsing, and I don't know if you've got any more to say about that, but that's I'm really amazed, actually. I'm definitely going to be looking at that gym equipment soon. And so we actually, I remember now mentioning last week looking at the ancestral link, and that is important, and I forgot to put that in our description, but I will later on. So perhaps that can come through, Penny, with you.
Yep, thanks. Yeah, to go on about the recent, this is just the beginning of a couple of months ago, really, how important we are, the time that we're in at the moment. Some, if you like, dark energy has been coming up through timelines or past lives to be cleared. And I think if we can link this in with this unconditional self-love, I think it's important for us not only to take that self-love out of this dimension, but also to go down past timelines, past lives, to not forgive, because I always think if you forgive, that implies a judgment. Just to unconditionally accept and to love who we were at that time, no matter what was going on, whether we're male, female, whatever we were doing, because it's so important that energy is brought up, and that dark stuff is cleared and healed, and then we go forward. And I'll just quote, isn't it funny how I've been sorting a few things out today, which is unusual for me because I let things pile up.
Same here, you're in good company.
They're all hidden in but I found this, and it was only, I think I printed it off in about March time, when the lunatic diversion started, the L&D thing. Old timelines are coming to the fore by Judith Kusel, and she's really worth looking at, Kusel. It's from her I learned quite a lot about the colours, of our, you know, subtle energy body, how we connect to the planets and so on. And she's got a website called lovehaswon.org. Love has won. Old timelines are coming to the fore. It says, with the planetary ascension into the 5D, the old timelines are coming to the fore, which now need to be dealt with and closed. The lockdown has opened the collective soul memory banks of Atlantis and all which was before Atlantis, and what happened after Atlantis as humanity sunk further into a quagmire. Not their fault, obviously. And so it's saying sometimes fears will come up, or your buttons will get pushed, or you will have some physical discomfort in your body, which you need to find the root emotional baggage or memory bank of. And this is a time when we need to find a deep forgiveness. Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but anyway, in the higher sense of whatever happened before, to forgive ourselves and others. And that we need to go one step further and ask that the timelines now be closed. You see, when I do the heart blast on the limestone rocks, I usually say, I ask the portals to be closed, which I think probably is the same thing as what Judith Kussel's saying, so that we can be freed totally as we move into the 5D. And I think a lot of us are actually, have done that, we're doing that. And it says here again, it means cutting energetic cords and ties and revoking old contacts, oaths, pacts, whatever. So really, really fascinating. You know, love has won. Judith Kussel, old timelines are coming to the fore. It's just one page that I printed off, so it's not too heavy going, because we can get swamped out, can't we? Very easily.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, it is good news, really good news. And if it's all right to go on about, we were saying about animals communicating with us.
Of course.
Yeah, it's fascinating, because although animals haven't got a voice like ours, but by gosh, they communicate fantastically. And I remember going back, listening, thinking of my daughter who took her own life in 1993. She loved animals. She rode horses, she had cats, and she absolutely adored them. And I remember going back how communication can happen in different ways. And for me, and I know music is in my family, and I like singing, and you know, I don't play an instrument, but you know, my uncle Malcolm Arnold was the main musical chappie in my family, and I know about the frequencies and how powerful sound is. Sound, it's the, you know, and our voices are windows to the heart. Well, after she'd passed away and things were really difficult, I couldn't get a song out my head. And at that time, 1993, I hadn't got a clue really. It's a wonder I knew how to put one foot in front of the other. And I thought, why am I getting this song? And now, looking back, I know why I got the song, because the message was in it. And it was a song by Mary Black, who's a wonderful Irish folk singer, probably not folk singer. And the song was Caledonia. And all I could hear in my mind's ear, was, you know, that I love you and think about you all the time. That's one of the that's from the song. And when I think about it, that was, you know, Hazel communicating straight away. It was only the next day. And that's happened another time as well, when it was a birthday, you know, last year. And I was down on the rocks looking out over the bay, and I was thinking about, you know, a teacher's job, everything she was doing. And I got this song that I hadn't heard of for years and years and years and years. And it's a madrigal called The Silver Swan. And I really, but the words were straight there. And it was the silver swan who living had no note, when death approached and locked her silent throat. Leaning her breast against the reedy shore, thus sung her first and last and sung no more. Farewell all joys, O death come close my eyes, more geese than swans shall live, more fools than wise. And that was another, and there was another one as well, which was thinking that people that have passed away. My second husband, Terry, who passed away in 2016, not that long ago, I'd gardened for some old ladies and a holiday home and got my own allotment and whatnot. And I was gardening away, and I got this song that it's a madrigal again. Do you not hear my lady when when in the garden singing, blackbird and thrush are silent to hear the alleys ringing. And actually, if you want to listen to that online, Ali Jones sings it.
And what's it called again?
The title. Well, I forgot the title, but the first line is, "Do you not hear my lady out in the garden singing?" That probably would come up with Ali Jones.
I'm just going to make a note of it.
Definitely, yeah, the message from the second husband Terry, because he loved the garden and we had a good garden business. And so if I can come on to still with poems, but this is a spiritual message really, or difficult to, it was from my mother, and it was written she wrote the poem, but it was written in about 1939 or somewhere like that, yeah. And the poem, it's got clues in it that it really is true that she was picking something up then that she wouldn't have known about at all.
Yeah.
England is a garden. England is a garden. She'd never been up north at all, only Wales. And is it all right to read it out?
Oh, please do. Yeah, lovely.
And then when I've come across one thing that I think, yes, I'll stop and perhaps explain it, because it really does come out quite interestingly. So this is my mum, Ruth Arnold. Our England is a garden. Yes, it is, by gum, by heck. If you call it a back alley, you'll get it in the neck. If you call it all things lousy, you likewise hit the mark. In spite of decorations, it's just a blooming park. If you try to wander around it, they yell, "Keep off the grass." If you take to country running, they kick you up the trying to dash then. Just stoop to smell a rose and they'll yell, "Let that alone. The flowers are not for you to pick," they wrathfully intone. Oh, England is a mockery, a sham, a house of glass. The potting sheds are ancient, the sports grounds are a farce. Oh, yes, it is a garden, but where the hell's the glory? You'll find it not while influenced by Liberal and Tory. You'll find it at a later date when governments know more. When houses of parliament have fallen through the floor and the Thames has washed away the guilt and lies and bitter stains of nasty, narrow-minded politicians, all the rains that go to make us beautiful will fall for years to come. And perhaps the so-called honeybees will start to buzz and hum, and throw the flower beds open for all the poor to share, and open to the palaces. Then up the golden stair, the workers of the garden will be allowed to roam, and Adam, with his trumpet, will call the cattle home, and distribute the bags of fruit, happy folk and true, not only those that boast the veins of royal red and blue. You can keep your slugs and pests and all the infectious lice, and what and where to put them, you don't need telling twice. Send them to Mr. Baldwin, that lovely garden urn, who stands at the main gates, the worm who dare not turn. Now, if you don't agree with me, I'm sorry, because it's truth. That's what I think of England, respectfully, yours, Ruth. Now, I'll just pick up on a couple of things.
I love
Thames, yeah, obviously water, carrying memory and being... the other thing is about Adam, with his trumpet, will call the cattle home. Now, what do the dark cabal call us humans? Is goyim.
Yes. Yeah.
Herd immunity. Have you heard that?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh, have we heard about that? And about about the, the government's no more, house of very, very interesting. And she also painted a picture. This is what.
Who painted that?
This is Mum. Well, she drew it really. She's very, very, very clever artist.
Oh, beautiful! Wow. This is
the nuns banishing the unmarried mother.
Oh,
look at the faces. She didn't know anything about the Catholic Church. I'm sorry if I'm treading on anybody's toes, but look at the.
Listen, I actually have a friend who experienced the Irish system of, unwed mothers having babies and how they would. Oh, it was shocking.
Philomena, wasn't it? Was it Philomena the
Philomena.
Dent? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I know what it's about.
Yeah. 2015, and also Magdalene's sister. But the background, look, does that look like snakeskin?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Look at this. She loved the Madonna and Child statues and so on. And there's But look at this. There's a snake. There's blood and there's a snake. This is incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. And the poor unmarried mother. There's so much in.
Yeah, there's so much detail. Wow.
Isn't it? And
That's
it was
beautiful.
2015 when Philomena was on the television, and also Magdalene Sisters and Spotlight, starring Mark Ruffalo, the Boston Globe. It's a fact-based drama of the way that the child abusing priests were protected.
Oh yeah.
In the Boston. But when the credits come up at the end, not the credits, before the credits. I hope I haven't said this before because I know.
No, I don't think so.
Well. It shows where all this happened in other parts of the world.
Oh.
And the UK, the only place was Preston. And I didn't even know. That's only a few miles south of where I am now. I didn't know it's a really big Catholic area.
Okay. No, I didn't either.
It has holy wells and some stone circles that have probably been built on now and it's got a docks, it's got water coming. It was a great big, which I didn't know. And I've lived up here for 20 years. So, you know, very, and the other thing I just wanted to share, if that's all right, again, the words that Tim Rice wrote to my Uncle Malcolm's Peterloo Overture, because it's full of promise, it's full of interest, it's full of, you know, and I put a little bit at the bottom about there is another revolution happening, but it's of consciousness which cannot be destroyed. It's where in Manchester, there was a peaceful demonstration against the parliamentary reforms back in, probably 18 something. I'm not very good at dates. Anybody remember when Peterloo?
Oh no, sorry, no, I don't know when that was.
And so Tim Rice wrote these words as a special choral piece to my Uncle Malcolm's Peterloo Overture, which is really well worth listening. I have got a DVD of the actual the presentation that was in Last Night of the Proms.
Oh, lovely. Oh, that'll be great.
Yeah, I haven't got telly now because my Skype box blew up and I didn't want to get another one. But I recorded it and I didn't know it was going to be on. But it was lovely. Tim Rice, he says, I dreamed I saw my country in its full and former glory, as if that earthly paradise had been the whole story, a sheer and golden confidence in our island again, a triumphs born through tragedies and majesty through pain. And I dream with the lesson never learnt at Passchendaele, never mentioned in dispatches. Eden, maybe. The trials of today were gone, a gentle race returning. I felt again the passion of a great nation burning. The libertine philosophers no longer held sway, as cries of both the tyrant and tormented fell away. I put here music changes to massacre of the protesters. And apparently the cavalry were all drunk. If that doesn't put people off drinking too much alcohol, I don't know what will.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's brought to mind a graphic now that I seem to remember seeing, showing that. Oh, pretty, absolutely horrific.
I couldn't watch the film. No,
I wouldn't be able to watch it.
Yeah, nearly finished. I wept at Clifford's Tower and I marched at Peterloo and I wore the mask of Shelley, anarchy, maybe. I woke to see my country new and long for her salvation. For where was her identity, the soul of a nation? In the dispossessed outsider at the end of the street, or in our anger railing at a world in retreat? But, and this is where the music really changes, I saw us come together, saw us live to tell the tale, though we stumbled, never broken. Foolish? Maybe. And still I pray my country finds another kind of glory and sees that earthly paradise was not the whole story, a sheer and golden confidence in our island again, of triumphs born of tragedies and majesty through pain. And when I put, there is another revolution happening, but the consciousness, our consciousness, cannot be destroyed. And
no, that's beautiful. Those words are absolutely gorgeous as well. So thank you very much for sharing that, because wow, it's beautiful. And I just wanted to share, Penny, as I've been sipping my water, I meant to tell you that it has shungite in it.
Well done. Shungite.
So, yeah, I often put shungite in I've got a container with a little tap on it, but I was speaking to someone who was saying that they they got a meter, you know, just like a regular little meter that you can buy online, and then they put it against the shungite, and the shungite went like it was, you know, had a lot of energy, and you know, did a big reading there. So I thought maybe I should not, you know, don't want to be too radioactive. It's glow in the dark.
Yeah, it's come from off planet, the shungite. It's Russia, isn't it? Comes from
Yes,
Russia.
yeah, and it has a slightly, I don't know what to call it. I really can't describe it. It does give the water an ever so slightly, I don't know whether it's not irony, a slightly other aspect of flavour. Not a lot, but nothing unpleasant either. It's great. It's great. Well, thank you, really, Penny. I think that was so powerful what you both shared. I mean, my goodness, I hope you really enjoy this, folks, because we're taking it's not really a departure, because all this is about health and wellness, and we need to feed our soul with music and art, or you know, color and sound, however it suits you. I know I used to sit and listen with my mum to music. We'd get a glass of wine. Sorry, Penny. But we do that, you know, I mean, we weren't drunks, we were just having a glass of wine, listening to Pavarotti, you know, whoever, Domingo, all of that. Or we'd maybe listening to Nat King Cole or that kind of thing. And, you know, I really need to get back to listen to a bit more music, and, you know, also the meditation stuff. Absolutely lovely. But so, Penny, if you, do you want to share anything else, or are you...
Thing about the scale, you know, the frequencies, because apparently you can...
Oh, yes, please.
Online. If anybody has an instrument, I've got a friend, Mark, who plays guitar, and he retunes his guitar to the solfeggio, the original scale, which
432 hertz, isn't it?
528, and all the numbers add up to 3, 6, or 9, which is what Nikola Tesla said. Very powerful. Got a cat meowing at me.
Nice.
It's 440 hertz, which is concert tuning, which the Rockefeller, whoever it was, insisted all Western instrumentalists change their instruments. They didn't want to do it, but they had to. It's a scale of dissonance, and it really is very, very important to get the, you know, the original, the scale that resonates with the sacred geometry of the universe, which is what we are. Because when you think about it, we have been seriously disconnected right from the start, when we had our money change from, you know, 12 pennies in the pound and whatnot to decimal. Well, that's almost like, you know, it's similar to that musical scale, because that's an interesting point. I hadn't even thought about it on that you know, level or layer of interaction with us, because of course money is something that they're trying to stop, isn't it? And you know, I was saying to Pat earlier, can't wait to get back and have a coffee or whatever in you know, the local Wetherspoons. But I can tell you what, if they think they're going to track and trace me, no, they're not. No, they're not.
Not happening.
Oh dear.
Anyway, thank you very much for your fantastically valuable contributions. I will start with this piece and say goodbye to you ladies who want to leave, and I will continue and just share about this amazing book, which this is a newer version. I had this, been aware of this book for quite a long time, and I've never come across anything quite like this before, with a degree of information. Now, for anybody who does not know what reflexology is or means, I'm just going to show you a black and white one first, which is just simply going to be an image of the hands. And I'm going to show you a color one in a second. So this is a map, guys. Sorry, I know my sound goes a bit when I'm presenting to camera. Just want you to have a good look at that. And you can freeze frame and take a snapshot or whatever you do. Little snip of it. So basically our hands, our feet, our ears, our tongue, all reflect the entirety of our being. I'm just going to show you this briefly. I'm not going to do anything about the feet, but you can look it up yourself. And the reason I'm not doing anything about the feet, it's as valid as the hands. I can just reach my hands better. I'm the one for an easy life, gang. So this is a very good illustration, very simple, of the hand reflexology zones. Have a good look, guys. Look where the lungs are. They're below the fingers in the upper part. I'll just show you here. Okay, and I'm going to show you one more. And that is, it's just another one. And you know, you can download these from the net. There are plenty, or buy a book and just a quick look at the ear.
Put that
So
to print.
that gives you, yes, this is for acupuncture, I know, but I just wanted to show you the fact that, you know, it is well known in the field, if you like, of health and wellness, that these areas and these parts of our bodies can be unbelievably helpful to us if we just have one or two ideas about how to help ourselves. So the first thing I wanted to share with you, I'm literally going to be showing you the book and going through the book, but I want to show you one or two little tools first. So this is a little reflexology ball, and you can do that. What it does, of all these points, and of all these points here, right in the palm of the hand, you will see that we have, and I'm just going to read, we've got the lungs, we've got the adrenals, we've got the intestines, stomach, bladder, colon, and liver, and so on. It's a huge thing that our hands, so our hands don't get a lot of attention here normally at all. You know, if we put a bit of hand cream on, ladies may pay a bit more attention to the hands than men, but men, you need to pay attention too. So these balls, guys, these are brilliant, and it's a silicone, rubber, whatever, and this is very quick. You don't need to be doing this for very long. No, maybe a minute, good few seconds. And you may even feel some areas of discomfort. When you feel areas of discomfort, that tells you there's a little blockage. I was giving this finger a little massage yesterday, and it was really a bit painful, a little bit gritty, right in the middle there. And you know, that's all to do with my eyes as well. So here in the webbing of the eyes, here and here. Now, so that's one little tool you can use, and you can use it like this as well. Really good. You know, you're going to be sitting watching a program, or just listening to something, or chilling out, whatever, in between picking up your glass of wine. Sorry.
Soda water.
I must stop it. And water, yes, water with sugar. And then there's this little thing. This is really cute. I don't know if you can see, it says hand grip. And what this does, it allows you to really push down, and there is quite a lot of resistance in here. And so that just allows you to, if you like, it's about rehabilitating your whole hand structure, and it just helps you get a little bit more strength. So that's great. It has got a few little nodules on each end. So again, you can feel that pushing in, because that is quite a strong resistance there. And again, maybe you could do it that way as well. So I'm just showing you some of these, but equally, you don't need any tools for pressing in to the points. If you don't have a little peg, or, you know, I tell you what would be really good, a gardening doweling tool, where it's like a little T-bar, and just it's not a point, but it comes to you know, it's kind of shaved down, and then you could actually do this, because it's actually quite tiring. I find it, you know, for any length of time to really work, especially these areas. They're quite solid, well, at least on me, and all around here. And you know, sometimes if you get an area that's painful, I've had some quite painful areas around here. That's, you know, generally a lot to do with the spine as well. So I've been working those, and I'm going to show you one of the ways of working. It's like you just roll your thumb in, and then you roll it again, and just, you know, really do whatever you want to do, but and also a bit of just pinching together. That really helps. That's great. And sometimes here, you want to keep, for the eyes here, you want to keep a little bit of pressure on. And sometimes if you get tired, you don't have the ability to just hold that or there. And clothes pegs are great. I didn't have any clothes pegs because I don't have an outside to peg up my washing, which I would if I could. But I do have some bag clips, and I thought I'll try these, and they're not too bad. So hang on, it's just telling me something. So there you go. Look, you can, and that's quite a strong grip, and I can feel that. It's not painful or anything, but if you've got a lot of issues going on, that can really help. And so if you're really wanting to, really dig a little bit deep, if you've got a painful area and work it, just use pencil, the end of a pencil that's got an eraser on, a rubber on. There you go. Or anything like that. It's absolutely brilliant. So I'm just going to have made a list of pages because and you can, I think you can still get this, guys, but I'm going to go to, so healing eye strain. So let me go to that. So that is showing you, this picture here is showing you what they're doing. She's showing you from the other side like that. I can't really show you with the camera very easily, but that's all. And there's nothing difficult about doing this at all. And you know what? If you don't do any of these techniques and you just give your hands a good massage, fantastic. But the good thing is, if you just feel pain in any way you press, there's an issue. That issue will relate to something within you, your liver, your stomach, your eyes. My stomach's grumbling. Another great thing is for your eyes and your whole being is to do this. Clasp your hands really tight, and I'm really doing that tightly, and then just give a little turn. I'm wearing a ring, which I don't normally wear, but take your rings off and swizzle round your hands like this. And you are really, really giving here all these areas, and there's the lungs. You need to be giving your lungs a little bit of TLC here, guys. And that's great to do. So easy. And for ladies, if you are experiencing period pains, and for guys with prostate issues, right down here, guys and girls, you may feel pain. If you feel pain, hold. Don't rub. Don't move it. If you feel pain, and again, you're not holding for very long. Same here, ovaries, prostate. Okay, so that's really wonderful. So we don't have too much time, but I want to give you helping animals with asthma. Maybe I'll just do that one since we're talking about animals. And it's just, this is wonderful, wonderful for us all. So, so here is a little bit of a letter, and it's about a little Chihuahua and who was really suffering. So they said that, hang on, I'm sorry. So this little Chihuahua began having this cough situation, and then she started to massage its little feet, and that really stopped the cough in its tracks. And if you're getting a cough too, you can use this area, this thumb finger webbing area here. Fantastic, absolutely amazing, guys. Hangover help is page 116. I'm not having hangovers. I'm only just saying it because it makes me laugh because of Penny. I want to show you this one. Sorry, pens. So how to stop hair loss and graying. So again, just a really quick one. So and apparently some people are reporting absolutely incredible results with this. And what he is doing, see your fingernail tops here, he's doing that. He's rubbing them together. And when you rub them together for 5 minutes, that's all, you only need 5 minutes, and you rub. 5 minutes, watching something, listening to something, watching the clock. 5 minutes. That stimulates. You imagine, thinking of the zone therapy, folks, we talked about last time, all that energy is getting a real boost, and it's fantastic for your hair, fantastic for your nails, of course. So, who can't spend 5 minutes? This is not like it's me doing the gym. Right, and then I'm going to do a quick look at clearing possession, because I think this is so important. I'm not even going to have time now to do the endocrine system, but my goodness, guys, if you want some more information or want me to do another session on this, I will. But I want to show you, I want to just read this to you. So how a doctor uses reflexology to evict possessions. How about that? So Dr. Brandt told me that when a person is possessed by an entity, he or she usually has overactive adrenal glands. Isn't that interesting, Pens?
Didn't know.
He says the pancreas, the adrenal, pituitary, and the pineal are all doubly active. And by using reflexology to return those glands to normal, active functioning, it doesn't leave any room for extra spirit or possession. He either starves or she and leaves. So that is absolutely fascinating. So again, this sort of support, it knows no bounds. It crosses every single area, and it will go into our ancestral stuff, because whatever is wrong with our organs or ourselves or we're having issues with, often if you will quieten the mind and ask for information that you're ready to know and willing to know, and just ask if it has anything to do with your lineage, and if there is anything that you're bringing in this life that you need to clear. I mean, I do this work all the time if I'm working in my regression stroke quantum healing work, and I'll put my website link at the bottom. So this is some very simple, very easy, and it's you don't have to understand a lot. You just simply have to know that you've got some pain, and you're going to work it out, and that's it. And so not only can you clear possession, for goodness sake, you've got all kinds of things for stopping coughs and helping respiratory issues. Your lungs are all there, particularly now, guys. Just give yourself a good old massage, in fact on the whole hand. Just give yourself, and do it daily. 5 minutes isn't going to hurt. I used to sit there sometimes when my dad was alive and I'd be doing this business, and he'd look at me and he said, "There's no need to be so worried." He said, you're obviously anxious. I said, "I'm not anxious." I said, "I'm working my reflexology points."
Joanne, can I ask where you got your little gadget things, where did you get them?
You know what, I actually don't recall now. But I would imagine they call it a hand reflex ball, I think, and it's there are some which with more nodules on that you can get as well. I know this lady actually made some, and I'm sure if you go and look for hand reflexology balls, this is actually great. And also using these guys to keep the pressure on an area that needs some work, and don't worry about it. You're likely to just be at home, don't worry who's watching. But it really, really helps, and I use the hands simply because they're nearest, saves me diving down to my feet. It's enough for me to do my toenails.
Your hands are extension of the heart as well.
And the hands are extension of the heart. So we need to, it's basically about us looking after ourselves a bit more, gang. And if you want me to do a few more, show you a little bit more from this book, we are going to have to go now and go poof, like the fairies, Cinderella. Let me know. But otherwise, get the book yourself. For me, it's one of the best ones because, my dad was an alcoholic, and I've mentioned this before, and I had no understanding that it actually could be an adrenal problem, an adrenal issue. So that was, that was very educational for me, and it helped me lose a bit more of my judgment on him. I don't have that now, but I did at one time. Gosh. So another facet of knowledge. So there you go. So Penny, I don't know if you want to wrap up with any last little bits for us, any comments about this. I don't know if you've had any experience of reflexology, but I think we have just a moment to go, and then we shall be hasta vista till next week.
Yeah, it's fantastic. That I have had foot reflexology, but no, I'd never want to do it to anybody else. I just wouldn't. And knowing that we are holographic beings, Yeah, aren't we?
Absolutely.
And I know about EFT, the tapping a little bit, but that is just so good. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'd love to see some more of that next week, Joanna,
Okay.
if I'm invited again.
You certainly are.